According to the American Heart Association, CPR dates back to the year 1740, but today 70% of Americans say they feel helpless when it comes to a cardiac emergency. According to kidshealth.org, there are several different emergencies that require the use of CPR, such as near drowning, suffocation, or poisoning. I am certified through the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association in CPR, and I feel inspired to share this life-saving technique with others. According to the American Heart Association, if someone were in a position to perform CPR, it would most likely be at their own house, on a family member, or on a friend's. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation has been a proven technique for over 270 years, but a majority of the country could not perform CPR properly to save a life. With that being said, I am going to inform you on how to perform CPR on an adult or a child, how to perform CPR on an infant, and the major mistakes and complications that arise during CPR. According to the American Red Cross, children and adults are given the same technique of CPR. You're first going to begin with 30 chest compressions. Use one hand to place on the sternum. Place the other hand directly on top and interlace the fingers to give 30 chest compressions at a rate of 100 compressions per minute. Then give 2 rescue breaths. Tilt the head back and lift the chin up. Pinch the nose closed and give 2 rescue breaths into the mouth of the victim. Now you know the steps to take in performing CPR on an adult or a child. Start with 30 chest compressions, followed by 2 rescue breaths while pinching the nose closed. CPR in an infant is different, however. According to the American Red Cross, an infant is considered 1 year or younger. You're going to begin CPR with 2 rescue breaths on an infant. Tilt the head back and lift the chin up. Then you're going to give 2 rescue breaths into the mouth and the nose of the infant. Next, you're going to follow up with 30 chest compressions. Place one hand lightly on the infant's forehead. Use 2 fingers of the other hand to give 30 chest compressions. Now you know the steps in performing CPR on an infant. First, use 2 rescue breaths over the mouth and the nose. Then, use 30 chest compressions with only 2 fingers. There are many steps to remember in performing CPR, but time is crucial. According to kidshealth.org, permanent brain damage or death can result in less than 8 minutes if CPR is delayed. There are many common mistakes and complications that arise during CPR. According to the book First Aid for Colleges and Universities, they point out these major mistakes and complications. One major mistake is not completely sealing the mouth of the adult or child, or not completely sealing the mouth and nose of the infant, allowing air to escape. Another is not completely locking out the elbows during chest compressions on an adult or child, resulting in ineffective compressions. Also, according to the book First Aid for Colleges and Universities, even though CPR is properly performed, complications can still arise. Don't be frightened if you hear cracking or breaking. It is extremely common for the sternum and the ribs to fracture during compressions. So remember key points in order to resist mistakes, such as completely sealing the mouth or the mouth and the nose, and completely locking out the elbows. And remember, don't get frightened if you hear cracks. According to First Aid for Colleges and Universities, even though complications arise, CPR is necessary because the alternative is death. Now you know the steps in performing CPR on an adult or child, on an infant, and the major complications and mistakes that arise. A majority of Americans could not perform CPR to save a life, even though it has been a proven technique for centuries. Not only could you perform CPR to save a loved one, but you could save a life of a stranger. According to the American Heart Association, only 32% of strangers in cardiac arrest receive CPR from a bystander.